It's a crisp, cool, overcast day here in Lexington as we get ready for some OD action between the Roanoke College Maroons and the Washington & Lee Generals. We say hello and welcome to Captain Dick Smith Field here on the campus of Washington & Lee University in Lexington, Virginia. Thanks so much for joining me on the Washington & Lee Sports Network. I'm Kaden Buss, joined by my partner in crime, Shane Riley. And Shane, today, two teams vying for playoff position are facing off right here at Captain Dick Smith Field for an in-season doubleheader. The Generals come into today 11-10 overall, 5-9 in ODAC play, 6-4 here at Captain Dick Smith Field, and 3-4 on the road. But the Generals have actually won 4 in a row after starting out a little bit slow and having a losing streak up to 6 games. And their winning streak, their most recent winning streak of 4 in a row, started over Guilford last weekend in a doubleheader. It was 10-5 in Game 1 and 14-7 in Game 2, so a lot of offense for Washington & Lee. Then they rallied from 7 down on Tuesday right here at Captain Dick Smith Field against SVU to come all the way back and defeat the Rockbridge County rival in SVU 10-9. And then on Wednesday, they bounced back and beat a really solid Shenandoah team 5-4. Shenandoah is actually receiving national votes in the national poll, one of the top teams in the ODAC. So W&L really showed us a lot of what they can do in their potential, but how can they keep this winning streak alive against a really solid Maroons team?
Yeah, you talked about Shenandoah, ranked 28th in the country, so certainly a big win for the Generals, especially coming in ODAC play. But for Washington & Lee, it's really going to be all about their offense. We've seen it at times explode, as we talked about in a couple of their earlier games, going for over 10 runs. But it's really going to become about getting those bats moving. Andrew Thornton, third baseman this season, is just tearing it up for W&L, batting .400, over 1,100 OPS on the season. And the pitcher they're facing on the mound, in Thomas Burgess, has struggled a little bit this season, coming in with a 6.32 ERA. So certainly a good opportunity there for the Generals to take advantage.
And one thing we know about this Roanoke squad is they can score a lot of runs. Roanoke is also a very, very good squad that won 3 of their last 4, including a win over number 3 nationally ranked Lynchburg, always at the top of the ODAC. In Roanoke this year is 15-11 overall. They had one draw that was called after due to light, that one. And they're 7-3-1 in conference play, 5-7 at home, but 10-4-1 away. This team, like we mentioned, can score a lot of runs. In their last 2 games, they've combined for 22 runs. They have 5 players in their starting lineup with over 900 OPS. So, Shane, what do the Maroons have to do at the plate to stay hot against John Benner, who's also been pretty solid for Washington & Lee on the bump?
Yeah, for both sides, the answer is the same. Got to score a lot of runs today to keep in it. Both pitchers, talked about it, have had some solid stints. John Benner on the mound, also coming in with a 6.75 ERA, so a little bit up there for him as well. But he's looked good at times this season. But Roanoke, as you talked about, 4 players over 900 OPS. Their offense is really potent, and if they can get going as well, we should see a high-scoring one today between these 2 offenses.
We have a good one between 2 teams in the ODAC here. Doubleheader, Game 1 coming up right after this. We're going to have the national anthem coming right up, but 2 teams vying for playoff position. Game 1 of a beautiful Saturday doubleheader. It's almost go time of game one of our doubleheader in some mid-season conference play between the Washington and Lee Generals and the Roanoke College Maroons. Washington and Lee starting out with John Benner on the bump for the Generals. Benner, senior righty from McLean, Virginia, wears number 19. This year he's 2-2 on the year, just over 6 ERA at 6.75 in 25 innings of work and a 1.93 whip. And now looking at the batting lineup of the Roanoke College Maroons facing Benner. First off is going to be a freshman catcher from Flemington, New Jersey, number 23, Danny Ferguson. A sophomore shortstop from Asheville, North Carolina, number 4, Kyle Moshore. A senior right fielder from Salem, Virginia, number 1, Parker Staller. Sophomore left fielder from Leesburg, Virginia, number 8, Tyler Galloway. A junior designated hitter from Rumson, New Jersey, number 27, Liam Murphy. Sophomore third baseman from Chesterfield, Virginia, number 30, Hayden Giordano, I should say. A senior second baseman from Ashburn, Virginia, number 6, Corey Coogan. A sophomore first baseman from Springfield, Virginia, number 33, Ken McKeever. And rounding out the batting lineup for the Maroons is a junior center fielder from Roanoke, Virginia, number 7, Nate Prince. Washington and Lee comes into this one winning their last 4. Roanoke has won 3 of their last 4, including a win against number 3, Lynchburg. Their only loss also against number 3, Lynchburg. So 2 hot teams looking to stay hot down the stretch here. So we're getting ready to go. It's like John Benner is all warmed up and is getting ready to face the freshman from Flemington, New Jersey in Danny Ferguson.
Yeah, Benner looked solid in those warm-up pitches. Seemed like he had some good control. We'll see if he's able to start this one off for the Generals.
Danny Ferguson, freshman catcher who's just been inserted into the lineup. Bats left-handed as pitch number 1 is outside for Benner and ball number 1. Second one comes away on the inside. Standing in there strong was Ferguson. It's going to be good for ball 2. Ferguson has inserted himself into the starting lineup, replacing Jack Fellner behind the plate. Or check that, Tucker Schiavano as well. Another talented first year behind the plate also in the lineup in Ryder Swanson, as the first hit is good, just over Nick Legis, trying to get out there and make a hit. Is now Danny Ferguson stays hot with a single that just gets over the head of Nick Legis.
Yeah, for Ferguson, it's his 22nd hit of the season, so a very productive freshman season thus far for him, and that one jammed him up a little bit inside, but able to just get enough of it. Lagos unable to get under that one, and Roanoke, their first base runner, comes on their first batter of the day.
Ferguson stays hot coming into this game, hitting .375 with a .923 OPS in 13 games started, all 13 in a row. Now here comes the shortstop who rockets one all the way into left, and it's caught.
That one,
there's going to be first out for the Maroons.
That one took a little bit of a ride there from Mosher. Sent that one all the way out to the 370 warning track. Still able to get under it. And the ballpark will keep that one in, but good power that are shown by Mosher. Just barely missed that one.
And out in the field, nice job by Camden Teague tracking down that one, but Mosher getting under it. Just a little bit too much, not quite enough barrel on the ball for him. Now, the senior from Salem, Virginia, Parker Stallard, comes to the plate. Stallard, .291 on the year, but a .944 OPS, a true power hitter for this squad. He's also got 21 RBIs. Ball 2 is way inside for Benner.
Yeah, you can also credit him with 3 homers and 21 RBIs, so certainly a run producer on this Roanoke team. We'll see if he's able to get on base.
Stallard, the right fielder, one of the senior leaders for this squad, brings a lot of experience to play. This ball 3 is high.
Good patient at bat here from Stallard. Benner not really given anything to offer at.
Ferguson on first. Short lead. Benner throws one right down the middle for strike 1. Like Stallard might have gotten this take sign on.
You gotta think it's gonna be
pitch.
Green light hit for him here on the 3-1 though. Benner having to come at him here. Of course, you don't want to walk Stallard here and get a runner on second.
Stallard rifles one over to Thornton. Thornton gets it to second for the easy out. He finds Larmore, who retires Ferguson. But a nice job by Stallard to get to first quickly, as the throw was just a little bit late for the double play, and there still remains runner on first, but 2 outs now for Benner.
Yeah, well, just a little bit of a slow short hopper. Tough to get the double play on that one. Smart by Thornton there just to take the easy out at second and try to move to ending this inning now with 2 outs.
Now Tyler Galloway at the plate, another sophomore. Comes from Leesburg, Virginia. Benner checks over to Stallard on first.
Yeah, and Galloway this season really dominant at the plate. 10 doubles. Tied for most on the team with Kyle Mosher. 348 average as well, so hitting machine here up at the plate.
Benner ball high and outside. We've seen him work his way down in the count, but still has 2 outs and that one little bloop single. Benner readies, going is Stallard, but the throw was a little bit late. He'll be down at second. Looked like Larmore couldn't quite get over there in time. Charnecko tried to hose him down.
Yeah, Larmore lost his footing there a little bit because Charnecko's throw brought him back away from the bag. Still a good effort there to try to apply the tag, but Stallard just much too quick, and they'll have a stolen bag there.
And now a runner in scoring position for the Maroons with one of their better hitters at the plate. Galloway takes a big cut. Misses. 2-1 now. Galloway, like we mentioned, one of the best hitters on this team. 348 on the year. Only a 916 OPS with that average, but 21 RBIs, and looking for his 22nd right here with a runner in scoring position. Galloway takes another big cut.
It was like Benner hit him with the off speed there. Galloway tried to hold up on his swing, but unable to make contact with it. Good pitch there from Benner to shake off the timing a little bit of Galloway.
Now that ball way outside, and it's going to get past Charnecko. Rounding is Stallard. He's going to stay at third. Full count now. Can't afford any more pass balls with Stallard on third. He already swiped a bag, showing you what he can do with his legs. Full count now for Galloway. 2 outs. Way inside, and that's going to be ball number 4. Galloway's going to reach on first. Now with runners on the corner, Liam Murphy, the designated hitter, comes to the plate. Murphy, another really solid hitter for Roanoke, leading the squad in OPS and 964. 302 on, hitting 302 on the air with 15 runs, 14 RBIs, and he's got runners on the corner.
He's their power man with 5 home runs on the season, so Benner's got to be aware of the matchup at the plate.
Taking a big cut right away is Murphy. Murphy takes a big cut into center, but right there was John Turner. And John Benner getting it done, escaping after there were runners on the corners with 2 outs. But Roanoke College comes up empty after a single and a walk, as Washington and Lee and Roanoke are all knotted up heading into the bottom of the first. Back here at Captain Dick Smith Field, as Washington and Lee and Roanoke College are all knotted up after the top of the first. Now coming to the plate are the Washington and Lee Generals. They're going to be facing junior righty for Roanoke, Thomas Burgess. Burgess out of Leesburg, Virginia. 6.32 ERA, 37 innings of work, and a whip of 1.41 has been a solid starter. The ERA a little bit higher than you would like, but nonetheless a solid starter who's 3-1 on the year, looking for win number 4 for Washington and Lee. Leading it off is going to be the sophomore first baseman from Alexandria, Virginia, number 35, Nathan DeWitt. Following him is a junior shortstop from Chicago, Illinois, number 12, Nick Legas. Senior catcher from Clifton, Virginia, number 42, Campbell Charnecko. Sophomore third baseman from Houston, Texas, number 22, Andrew Thornton. A junior right fielder from Atlanta, Georgia, Paul Ramsor. A senior designated hitter from Baltimore, Maryland, number 34, Jack Belbot. A junior second baseman from Atlanta, Georgia, number 4, Preston Larmore. First-year left fielder from Hoover, Atlanta, number 14, Camden Teague. Batting sixth for Washington and Lee is a junior center fielder from Marietta, Georgia, number 5, John Turner. At the plate for Washington and Lee is Nathan DeWitt, facing off against Thomas Burgess. Burgess, like we said, 6.32 ERA, 37 innings of work, a whip of 1.41, so a pretty solid starter for Roanoke, looking for win number 4, facing off against DeWitt, who's been one of the top hitters for Washington, a 3.62 average with an OPS north of 1,000. Takes a big cut there, and it's going to be a 1-1 count now for Burgess facing off against DeWitt.
DeWitt, very productive at the plate for Washington and Lee, leading it off today for Coach Ted White. Going to see if he can get on base just like Roanoke did with their first batter.
DeWitt takes a cut, goes foul almost into third base dugout of Roanoke. Coach Brandon Cohen on that ball. You always have to be so lively, especially if you're in the coach's box at that third base line. The 1-2 to DeWitt. DeWitt takes. It's going to be ball 2. Roanoke not loving that call. It looked pretty solid of a pitch, but
yeah, trying to get that back door sneaking in there. Burgess thought that one was in the zone. Looked like the umpire for a moment might have gestured for strike 3, but gonna stay at 2-2.
2-2 now. DeWitt takes a cut, and he's going to go down as Thomas Burgess right away with a K.
Yeah, great pitches there from Burgess. Just missing on that previous pitch, but still a good location on it, and forcing DeWitt to be a little bit on his back heel in the 2-2 count. Able to set him down for the first strikeout of the day.
Now Nick Legas comes to the plate. Legas, 325, 890 OPS for the junior shortstop from Chicago, Illinois. Has been one of the Washington and Lee's best players all 3 years he's been here.
And Lack is also a great defensive shortstop as well. Just unable in that first inning to make that catch on a little bloop that went over his head, but certainly comes up and makes a lot of plays on that side of the ball as well.
A late signal from the umpire. It's going to be a strike. No one loving that call. A couple of controversial calls already.
Yeah, it looked like
Washington and Lee Generals lineup not loving that one.
Looked like he held up from where I'm sitting up here, but umpires disagree. Coach Ted White's coming out to ask about that pitch. Maybe ask the umpires to talk it over.
Now, an umpire meeting, that was a really late signal, a little bit too late on the replay, but you guys can wind back to see it for yourself. Looked like it was a ball and Legas held up. And such a late signal and almost a haphazard signal from the umpire, like he wasn't sure either. One of the things you have to make sure behind that plate is whatever call you're going to make, you just stick to your guns and stick with it. But now, talking to the first base umpire to see maybe if Legas went around.
Looks like Lagas is also getting himself a new bat. Clearly did not like the one that he was using and step up to the plate with, I guess, his preferred bat.
Now the first base side umpire going to talk to Coach Ted White. Coach Ted White letting him hear it, and rightfully so, it seems. Just a late haphazard signal from the umpire behind home base, and now it's the first base umpire with the explanation. It looked like the umpire behind home plate was the one that made the strike call, though. Nevertheless, going to stay 0-2, and Legas will stay down in the count. Facing off against Burgess. Burgess. Beautiful strike to retire Legas for strikeout number 2 of the day for Thomas Burgess. As Nick Legas goes down in 3 pitches.
Yeah, that one had a little something off of it. Legas just not able to catch up with it. Burgess starting this one really strong here. Only 5 pitches already, 2 outs.
Now to the plate is the senior catcher from Clifton, Virginia, Campbell Charnecko. Charnecko takes strike 1. You can see great control from Burgess. Seen a lot of breaking balls from him thus far. Rather lower velocity, but hitting the spots as that one's low and away and out of the glove of Ferguson.
And that's really important when you do have pitches with not as much velocity on them, is that you do find your spots, because if you miss, those hitters can easily catch up with them, especially with an offense like W&L's. But right now, Burgess locked in and finding his zones.
The 1-1, Charnecko lines it. Gonna go into right field and just out of the glove. Of Stallard. Stallard trying to make a diving play for that one, but just out of his glove. Saw it pop off. We'll see what the scoring decision is. Would have been a tough one for Stallard having to come up. And now, 2 weekends ago when Washington Lee was here at home, we saw Campbell Charnecko, multiple bloop shots into right, and another one right there.
That one does go down as a hit, and Stallard just unable to get his glove underneath it. Ground sort of took it off of his hand. As you said, Kaden had it in his glove, but just unable to corral it. That does go down as a hit, though. First of the day for Washington and Lee.
Now, if you're Washington and Lee, you got the guy you want at the plate in Andrew Thornton, hitting .400 on the year. An OPS north of 1,100 as he takes a big cut, goes out. Thornton, 28 RBIs, a team high for Washington and Lee, and he's this week's was named this week's Generals.com Player of the Week.
Yeah, if you look across the board, he's leading the Generals in just about every major offensive statistical category, so certainly just been the catalyst all season long for Washington and Lee, and we'll see if he's able to keep that going here against Burgess. Up now 2-1 in the count.
Thornton holds up on that one. It's outside, and now 2-1 count against Burgess. Burgess has looked really solid. 2 strikeouts, and the only single coming from that bloop shot from Charnecko as he scampers back to first. Nothing doing.
Yeah, Burgess caught him a little off guard there. Charnecko looked a little shocked that he was throwing back given his small lead, but still able to get back in time.
Two-one. Lined up the gut from Thornton for a single. Charnecko rounds second, but goes back to first. That one was also dropped by the center fielder. A little bit sloppy of a fielding play from Nate Prince, but now runners on first and second for Washington and Lee.
Yeah, Thornton just coming up again. Time and time again, we've seen that all year long, and another base hit for him. That'll bring up Paul Ramsor. Charnecko is faked to second. Looked like he sort of caused Prince's error there. Not error, but mishap with the ball in center field. Might have been able to keep going to third, but he'll stay at second for Ramsor.
So 2 outs, 2 runners on for Paul Ramsor, the junior outfielder from Atlanta, Georgia, trying to capitalize as strike 1 is in there on him from Burgess, attacking right away after 2 singles from both Kimball Charnecko and Andrew Thornton. Ramsor has a runner in scoring position in Charnecko. As the second pitch of this at-bat is low and away. Charnecko getting his lead. As that one was low for a ball.
Yeah, both pitchers have faced traffic on the bases so far in this one, just like we talked about. Going to be a lot of offense, but Banner was able to navigate out of that. We'll see how Burgess does here.
Burgess, a lower velocity pitcher that focuses a lot on placement. Charnecko and Thornton were able to make him pay, but 2 strikeouts to start the game between DeWitt and Lagus. Now it's going to be third ball for a pitch clock violation now. So 3-1 for Ramsor. Ramsor takes a cut, lines it into right, but right under it was Stallard as he'll retire. Ramsor and end the bottom of the first as 2 runners on in both the top and bottom of the first for both teams, but neither team can capitalize, leaving a couple of runners on base as we're still knotted up as we head into the top of the second. Back here at Captain Dick Smith Field for the top of the second inning. 6, 7, 8 due up for Maroons. Giordano, Coogan, and McKeever. Giordano going to be the first one to face John Benner. Giordano, one of the better hitters also on this team, in OPS of 872. He takes a cut there. Benner gets strike one in. Giordano, 293, 872 OPS, 20 runs, and 18 RBIs on the year. A senior that has really taken a step up this season. He holds up on that one. Looking for some runs against Washington and Lee. This Roanoke offense so potent. But Washington and Lee was able to limit them to no runs in that first inning.
Yeah, this game might look a lot like bending and not breaking for both teams. We saw that on display in the first. It really will come down to who is able to limit the most runs and limit the most base runners. It's always huge in these kinds of games, especially when both teams are so good on offense. It's not allowing the cheap base runners like walks and errors will be huge.
Giordano fouls the last one off, and back is now ball three is in there for a full count between Benner and Giordano. Last year, Giordano was all-region third team and actually had an on-base streak of 18 games to end the season. Now looking to get on base once again for the Maroons. So we'll do it again after he fouls the full count pitch back. Here comes the pitch from Benner, and he fouls that one off the third base foul side. Thornton staying ready over there on the hot corner. Try a third time here for the 3-2. Benner instead is going to step off the bump, take his time, and gather again. Here it comes now. Another foul back from Giordano. How about this? Staying in there tough for the senior third baseman.
Great at bat so far from Giordano. Benner keeps finding the zone here. Giordano able to fight all of these off. Just a great at bat. We'll see if he's able to force a walk or grab a base hit here.
Another foul back for Giordano. Just hanging in there tough against Benner. That was the fifth 3-2 pitch now. At-bats up to 9 pitches. Now Giordano fouls another one.
And these kinds of at-bats are so tough. Just a huge mental game from both parties involved. And we'll see who's able to win out here.
3-2 again, and finally Benner able to retire Giordano as he gets caught chasing that pitch off the outside corner. Nice pitch right there from Benner.
Yeah, Benner had kept pumping the zone, and Giordano kept fouling those off, but Benner decides to take a little bit of a risk there, go with the off-speed. Fell right out of the zone, but fortunately for him, Giordano chases, and that'll get his first strikeout.
Now strike number one in for Corey Coogan. Coogan, another senior on this squad, going to take that next step, but he's actually taken a little bit of a step back from a first-team All-ODAC season last year. The second baseman from Ashburn, Virginia, only a 683 OPS, 253 average, but certainly a dangerous bat as we saw last year. He had a 300 average and just gets on base a ton, but not a ton of power for him. But that's what Roanoke's looking for right now is base runners. That one gets inside and hits the foot of Corey Coogan. He gets on to base.
Yeah, Benner liked that inside there on Coogan. Got him to swing on that previous pitch that was a little bit inside, definitely a ball. And that time, Benner pays the price for trying to paint that inside corner and hits Coogan.
Kaden also a threat on the base paths. He had 3 steals against EMU. He's got 10 steals on the year. He had 1 against Guilford in their last one. As you can see, Benner checking on him right away. Trying to keep him close to that bag. Now it's going to be Ken McKeever at the plate, a sophomore first baseman from Springfield, Virginia. McKeever only making his 6th start of the year. He's primarily been a depth piece, but inserted into the starting lineup after some struggles from Jack Fellner. McKeever hitting .370 with an .858 OPS. McKeever lines it straight to Lagus. It's off his glove, and that'll be an error for Lagus as McKeever gave it straight to the shortstop who couldn't gather it. And now runners on first and second for the Maroons with only 1 out.
And these are the things I was talking about earlier. Who's going to be able to limit the mistakes? Runner on second gets on because of hit by pitch. Runner on first now gets on because of an error. Certainly a couple of unforced mistakes there from the Generals, and once again putting in them some defensive trouble here with 2 runners on and only 1 out.
Now the 9-hole hitter is Nate Prince at the plate now with 1 out. Top of the order, due up. Prince. Pretty solid 9-hole hitter. .250 on the year, 750 OPS. Certainly not the greatest offensive threat, but kind of what you want out of a 9-hole guy. Can make some things happen. He's got 24 runs and 13 RBIs. Also another fast player, so between Kaden and if Prince can reach here, the Generals might be in some trouble. But for now, 1-1. As Prince lines one past a diving DeWitt. Gets to Ramsor, rounding, getting in easily for run number 1 of this one was Corey Kaden. Ramsor just eats it. So now there'll be runners on the corners as Roanoke College scratches their first run across the board on a 1 RBI single coming from Nate Prince.
Great piece of hitting there from Prince. Just letting the ball letting the ball go where it's supposed to, I guess, on that one. Just swinging his bat, taking it the other way, right past the first baseman there for Washington and Lee. Trying to keep this inning going for the Maroons now. Runners on the corners.
Prince, threat on first. You can see him get in his lead. Doesn't go. A swinging bunt down. Benner retires. Danny Ferguson came up 1 pitch, 1 out, and that's exactly what you wanted if you're Benner. Now you're up to 2 outs, runners on second and third. Swinging bunt advances. Prince, you'll take it if you're Benner to get out number 2. So now 2 runners are in scoring position.
Wasn't sure if that was intentional there from Ferguson. Looked a little awkward on the swing. Did get the runner over, but perhaps not exactly what you were hoping for if you're the Maroons.
Here's the reigning ODAC Rookie of the Year now, former first-team All-ODAC. Last year now, shortstop for the Maroons, Kyle Moshier. .357 average, .961 OPS. He had a single his first at-bat. Now a bloop one that goes to Ramsor, and he retires. This retires Moshier, and just like that, Washington and Lee able to limit damage, but not before the first run of the day comes through off a 1 RBI single from Nate Prince as Roanoke takes a 1-0 lead into the bottom of the second. back at Captain Dick Smith Field as we're now in the bottom of the second. Roanoke just scratched across the first run of the day in game one of this doubleheader. Some ODAC play here between Washington and Lee and Roanoke. Now coming to the plate is going to be John Turner for Washington and Lee. Getting in the 6th spot, but a true contact hitter for the blue and white. Turner, 356 average on the year. Only 4 extra base hits this season. He's made 18 starts. Trying to get a base runner on now is Washington Lee. And first pitch, they'll do just that as Thomas Burgess hits John Turner.
Yeah, that pitch wasn't even really close there. Burgess coming out in the second inning a little bit out of control there with that pitch. That one straight into the back of Turner. Not really much he could have done to get out of the way of that pitch, and the Generals will gladly take a base runner here on the first pitch with nobody out.
Now it's going to be the senior designated hitter for Washington Lee, Jack Belbot. 6 starts this year. This is start number 7. He's going to lay down a bunt and just advance Turner into scoring position. He'll be retired. An easy one for Roanoke. But Washington Lee playing the little game, trying to get Turner into scoring position, and they do just that.
And that brings Larmore to the plate, who has only 5 RBIs on the season, so not an awfully high number there for him, but it's certainly a great chance here with Turner sitting on second to drive in a run and knot this game at 1 apiece.
The end of the order now for Washington Lee. These are the 8 and 9 hitters due up. Preston Larmore at the plate. Larmore, junior second baseman, has also been pretty good for Washington Lee. 286 and 735 OPS. Another guy who can get some contact. With Turner in scoring position, looking for just that. As now he trails in the count 1-2.
And every opportunity that the Generals have to score a run here, either both teams, very important that they capitalize and do so. Leaving runners on base in this kind of game is not what you want to be doing.
Larmar lines it straight to the second baseman. He'll be retired for an easy one. It's a nice fielding play that time. Coming from Corey Coogan off the one hop. Going straight to first. And now Turner all the way on third. But Burgess has made quick work of this lineup. Rather low pitch count. His heel hit Camden Teague. That was a little bit of a goofy one for Camden Teague. Didn't quite look like it hit him. And Burgess going straight to the plate. And now runners on the corner for Washington Lee, Shane.
Yeah, that was a weird pitch there. Ferguson did a really good job getting over to block it. It looked like it just skipped past the foot there of Teague, but the umpire says it hits him. So runners on the corners now, but this could be advantageous for Roanoke now with the force out at second.
And now DeWitt comes to the plate. Washington Lee getting another base runner in Teague on to first. But DeWitt at the plate, one of their best hitters. We mentioned DeWitt struck out in the first to lead off for Washington Lee against Burgess. But on the year, OPS of 1,080.
Certainly very impressive numbers from DeWitt, but a big spot here for him. 2 down with the runner on third.
That ball is low. So a 2-1 count now for DeWitt. A little bit different what we saw in The first DeWitt being a little bit less aggressive now. Runners on the corner, 2-1 pitch coming from Burgess. Inside for ball number 3.
It's really good work from Ferguson behind the plate to stop some of these inside pitches. Doesn't do so. You got to think Turner at third easily comes home to score.
3-1 now for DeWitt. That's ball number 4 outside, and almost just a pitch out that time for Burgess as he's lost a bit of control. That now brings up Nick Legis, who also struck out in his last at-bat.
A real chance here for W&L to bust this game open a little bit. Bases juice now, 2 outs. One of your better hitters up at the plate. We'll see what Lagos is able to do.
Strike number 1 is in low for Lagos. Now, bases loaded for Nick Lagos. He's got a chance to put Washington and Lee in great position. He faces Burgess. As that ball's outside. Makes the count 1-1.
Yeah, off speeds from Burgess looking good. Good placement. Just not able to get Lagos to chase, but certainly the kind of pitch you want to see if you're a Maroons fan.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. Lagos takes a crack, gets up the middle, and a nice play that time from Kyle Moshier to retire DeWitt at second base. And despite having bases loaded in the bottom of the second, Washington and Lee unable to score yet again, leaving some base runners stranded. Just like that, Roanoke retains their 1-0 lead into the top of the third. Top of their third action now at Captain Dick Smith Field in game 1 of our doubleheader between Roanoke and Washington and Lee. Roanoke going up 1-0 in the top of the second, looking to expand on their lead now. That came off of a single from the 1 RBI single from Nate Prince as Corey Coogan scored. Now coming back to the plate for a second at-bat. It's going to be Parker Stallard. Stallard reached in his last at-bat, but it was a fielder's choice to third base. He takes a big cut. This one's foul. DeWitt's chasing. Goes outside and behind the home bullpen on the first baseline. One becomes 1-2 after that pitch from Benner. That's in for strike 2. Stallard behind in the count, and Benner's going quick. Stallard now, chip shot over Larmore into the hands of Ramsor, but not before it finds time to hit the ground. There's a single for Parker Stallard.
Again, just letting the ball and letting the pitch sort of dictate for Stallard there where he's going to hit that one. Taking the opposite field, letting the bat sort of just go with the ball there. And great piece of hitting for Stallard. Nobody out.
Now Roanoke has another base runner. Nobody out. 2-strike hit right there from Stallard, and we've seen that a few times now from Roanoke.
It's going to be always so tough for a pitcher. You work the count. You get it where you want it to be, but then the batter just slices one off. Good piece of hitting and gets on base.
Going around that time was Galloway. That'll be the first strike to even the count at 1. Still, Stallard on first. Galloway at the plate. Galloway walked on balls in his last at-bat. Big cut there from Galloway.
Good off speed there from Benner. That one cutting back into the zone as it came across the plate. Galloway unable to catch up to it, and count moves to 2-2.
Benner checks on first base. Nothing doing over there. Now delivers one and knuckles off of Galloway's bat. It's way on the inside. Just fouls off soft and hits the net right in front of us.
Yeah, Galloway just trying to stay alive on that one. Tough pitch to catch up to, but he's able to do so. Keep the count at 2 apiece.
Now that one skied high. Charnecko thinking about getting under it. Instead, it'll go way back by us into the bleachers. Still 2-2, hanging in there tough is Galloway. Stallard on first. Here's the 2-2, and Benner with a nice piece of pitching off the plate and gets Galloway to chase to go down for strikeout for Benner in the first out of the top of this third.
Galloway, you could see, just not really expecting that pitch to set up outside like that, almost swinging out of his shoes to make contact with that one. Benner able to sit him down on the strikeout.
Now it's Liam Murphy as Benner checks on first again. Stallard having to stick close to that base. Benner doesn't want to let him get any traction over there. Murphy 0 for 1. Today, as that one is skied into the air and retired for out number 2, caught by Larmore, having to make the long trek all the way over to the first base foul line. Just like that, Benner got himself out of a little bit of a sticky situation with a runner on and no outs.
It's good, calm, composed pitching we've seen so far today from Benner. Obviously, to give up that run in the second, but certainly had the opportunity to give up a lot more and just kept his composure, kept pitching, looking to get those outs, and been doing so pretty successfully so far today.
Now Stallard's going to go. Charnecko to Larmore, hoses him down, and it's out number 3 on the runner, and Stallard going. And just like that, John Benner works himself out of the situation with a runner on with no outs. And headed to the bottom of the third, it stays 1-0 with Roanoke on top. Bottom of the third action now. Still on the bump is Thomas Burgess. Burgess has been strong. No runners allowed across. No runs at all, and only 35 pitches for the junior righty. Burgess, 1 walk and 2 hits, but also 2 strikeouts to start out the game. Since then, he hasn't had one. And now it'll be Charnecko back at the plate. He had the first of the 2 hits in that first inning. Burgess delivers again, and you can just see how good his placement has been. That one is low for strike number 1. Charnecko takes a swing, and it also goes foul. So strike 2 now on Charnecko, behind in the count 0-2.
Charnecko's such a strong hitter for the Generals. Even down 0-2 in the count, still have to be wary about him on the mound. If you're Burgess, don't want to give him anything easy.
Low and outside for ball 1 now on Charnecko. One, two. We'll see if Burgess wants to attack. Oh, a swinging bunt that goes off the foot of Charnecko. He's going to need a second. In some pain. That one went foul off of Charnecko's leg and then bounced into play, but that, of course, will stay as a foul ball and will stay 1-2 in the count.
Yeah, that one hit him pretty good. Rolled all the way up to the pitcher's mound, just straight off of his ankle. Taking a moment there, umpire giving him a second to recompose himself for the 1-2.
Now the 1-2, Charnecko having to stand in there right away. He skies one high into right, and he'll be retired. You can see he's still in some pain as he trots over to the dugout. Burgess, smart decision as soon as Charnecko was in the batter's box, just attacking right away. Could kind of sense that Charnecko might not be 100% quite yet. Now this brings Andrew Thornton, who has the other hit of the day for Washington and Lee.
The Generals fallen into a little bit of a lull on offense the first couple of innings here, getting base runners, having opportunities. Talked about bases loaded. Thornton fouls that one down the line. Bases loaded in that last inning. Unable to capitalize. Already 5 runners left on base. Certainly not a trend that they want to keep going, and they're going to want to try to break that here, get some base runners, and hopefully to run across the board.
1-1 count. Burgess versus Thornton. Thornton takes a swing. That'll be strike number 2.
That's a tough one there for Thornton. Thought he wanted to swing on it. That one just coming way more inside than he probably thought. Unable to hold up.
Now 1-2, Burgess up, and Thornton thought about going, but he doesn't. He holds up, and it's 2-2. Thornton now skies one high. It's going to be in play to the first baseman in McKeever. We'll retire Thornton for out number 2, and now Paul Ramsor to the plate.
Generals just really struggling a little bit here to string a lot together, just the 2 hits. Ramsor has a way of coming up oftentimes with timely hits. Still 2 outs here, but always time to start a 2-out rally. Ramsor will look to get it going.
Both these pitchers, Benner and Burgess, playing with a little bit slower of a pace of play. And now Ramsor going to sky one into center. Tracking it down are the Maroons. And a 1-2-3 inning for Thomas Burgess. He retires the side, and just like that, Roanoke keeping their 1-0 lead into the top of the 4th. It's the top of the 4th now. Roanoke carrying that 1-0 lead into this top of the 4th with that one spot after a 1 RBI single from Nate Prince. Hometown kid from Roanoke, Virginia, putting Roanoke up here on this beautiful day for a doubleheader midseason ODAC play. Still out there, though, is John Benner. 52 pitches, 3 hits, and that 1 run allowed. It was unearned, so not on Benner on the stat sheet. Got 2 strikeouts and 1 walk. So Benner also putting together a pretty solid game for Washington and Lee to go along with the masterclass that Thomas Burgess has put together as well.
This one's turned into more of a pitching duel than I would have anticipated at the start of the game. A lot of base runners, but still just the 1 run across the board. As I said, a lot of traffic that these pitchers have faced, but a good job by both sides navigating through it.
3-1 count now. That one is ripped into center. It's going to be a double for Giordano. A little bit of confusion there initially, but just like that, Giordano's on second with no outs, and we saw Benner in this situation in the last inning with a runner on first with no outs, but now a runner on second with no outs in scoring position. Giordano showing why he is one of the Maroons' top power hitters.
A great piece of hitting there from Giordano. Right into that left center gap. Took a spill running around first. Unsure if he was able to make it into second, but that ball from left field didn't get in quick enough, and he'll still get into second standing up. Nobody out here for Coogan.
First pitch fouled back for Coogan. Benner checking on Giordano. Giordano, like we said, former all-region third team and led the team in triples with that 18-game on-base streak now, showing what he can do as Coogan gets it straight to Larmar. Larmar retires Coogan, but making his way over to third is Giordano. So now a runner on third, one out for Ken McKeever. McKeever 0 for 1 on the day in that 8 spot, but he's been hot so far this year. Again, 370, an OPS just about 860.
He did reach on an error in that his first at bat by Lagas, getting the ball out short. Now a good chance here to drive in the second run of the day for the Maroons and double their lead.
Got to think McKeever's thinking, just got to make pretty solid contact, get under it, and get at least fly ball into the outfield to allow Giordano to tag up and scratch across. But Benner so far not allowing none of that. So that was ball 2 down. Looked like a good pitch, though. 2-0 for McKeever. Benner delivers. McKeever makes contact too short. As Lagas will retire McKeever, but not before Giordano makes it to home plate. That'll be run number 2 for the Maroons. After Giordano gets a double, makes his way to third on ground ball, and then scratches across on another ground ball. Just like that, Roanoke up 2-0. Is now Benner with another pitch on the way inside corner.
It's really smart base running there from Giordano. Seeing that one right off the bat, understanding he had plenty of time to make the run home. Even though the ball was hit to his same side, Lagas just really no chance to go home there. Makes a smart play going to first.
Benner now facing off against Prince. So the bottom of the order getting it done. 2 RBIs coming from the bottom of the order. McKeever with the RBI on that one. And Nate Prince with the 1 RBI single. As he comes back to the plate and is up 3-0 in the count. But now Benner gets strike number 1. We saw Prince's speed in that second inning. Don't want to let him get on the base pass as he'll walk.
Quick work there from Benner on that at-bat. Just coming set, throwing home pretty much every single time right away. That time just losing the control there a little bit. On the day, 62 total pitches, 38 strikes, so hasn't been the most consistent work from Benner, but certainly not, at the same time, the worst job from him. Coach White's going to come out and have a little talk.
Coach Ted White making that long trot over to the bump.
Nobody in the bullpen for the Generals warming up, so just a conversation here with Benner, maybe trying to see how he's feeling this inning and how much more work might be in store for him.
And like you said, Shane, a pretty good day so far for Benner. He's lost a little bit of control, and Coach Ted White just probably trying to slow down, calm down his pitcher after a run scratches across, 5-pitch walk. But Benner, only 4 hits allowed, 2 runs allowed, but the only one that was earned was that last one. And it was one that came off of a double, and then Benner was able to get the next 2 outs. 2 strikeouts for Benner, but he's been really solid for Washington and Lee today. Again, only 1 earned run through 3 2/3. But now a runner on first in Prince, who has speed, is a threat on the base path.
2 outs, though, here for Benner, so you got to expect probably not too much concern for that runner. Obviously, you don't want him to steal second in any situation, but if you can get the batter out at home, then runner on first doesn't mean anything.
On that last one, Prince almost getting stuck in no man's land, but Charnecko instead just opting to eat it. 1-0 Prince looking like he's getting ready to scamper. Instead, Benner checking on him. He's going to be safe. No. 1-0 down to make it 2-0. Now that's 6 of Benner's last 7 pitches have been balls. Would like to get him to get back on track right here. Thinking a lot about Prince over on first. So that one's in and a little bit high now for ball 3.
Benner just struggling a little bit here now that he's gotten 2 outs. Just going to try to throw one probably right down the zone here against Ferguson. See if he has a take option. He thought that one was a ball.
That pitch certainly looked like it was a little bit on the outside, but nonetheless is going to be a strike. 3-1, Washington and Leal take it. As Benner puts one away on the inside. Prince rounding second, thinking about going to third on that walk, hustling down. But instead just going to stay on second. So runners on first and second. Now 8 of his last 10 pitches have been balls for Benner.
Looks like we've got some action now brewing down in the bullpen. Of course, if you're Coach Ted White, you don't want to have to bring in an arm here. You'd like to see Benner finish this one off. Facing Mosher now. See what he's able to work through here. See if he's able to find the zone again.
Mosher, really solid player for Roanoke. Again, the ODAC Rookie of the Year. First team, all ODAC. Hitting .360 this year, .961. But he is 0 for 2 on the day now, with runners on first and second in Fisher and Ferguson. Now Benner trying to get back on track. First pitch is a strike. That second one also looked like a solid pitch. Benner forces Mosher to take a big cut and fouls it off. 1-2, 2 outs, 2 runners on. For John Benner, trying to work himself out of some trouble and see if he can extend his appearance in this one. Certainly have to think that this is an important at bat for Washington and Lee. Benner bends it inside, and that one was fouled off by Mosher.
Yeah, Mosher staying consistent, swinging on those inside pitches. Benner keeps throwing them right inside. That one looked like it was a little high there. Probably was going to be in there for a ball, but Mosher having to really fight off anything that's close.
One, two, 2 outs. That one's off of the far side of the plate. Makes it 2-2 now.
Still good pitch there, though, from Benner. Setting up outside was Charnecko behind the plate. Just trying to get Mosher to chase. Up 1-2 in the count.
Remember, Prince right in the middle of the screen. One of the best runners in the ODAC, so some speed. As a strike 3, rung him up on the inside corner. Mosher doesn't like that call, but John Benner able to step up after some struggles and work himself out of some trouble with limited damage, but not before Roanoke takes a 2-0 lead into the bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the fourth action is Washington and Lee is trying to put up their first runs of the day. Washington and Lee only 2 hits on the day, and those both came from Campbell Charneco and Andrew Thornton in the first inning. Since then, not much action. The second had a little bit with a few walks and a few runners on. For the third, Thomas Burgess was able to take care of business, and he's putting together a heck of game thus far through. For Washington and Lee, it'll be John Turner, Jack Belbot, and Preston Larmore due up for the Generals. As Burgess still under 50 pitches on the day with only 1 walk and 2 hits. That one's in for strike number 1 on Turner. Turner knuckles that one straight back to Burgess. Burgess taking easy work. Sends it over to first for out number 1, and Burgess's great day continues.
Yeah, Burgess really started to find himself these last couple of innings. No base runners last 5 batters, and really doing a solid job, Burgess, finding his spots, getting the ball where he wants them, and making it tough on these W&L hitters.
Now it's Jack Belbot. Belbot bunted to get Turner over to second, then Turner eventually got to third, but didn't score. But Belbot, 333 average, 830 OPS, but he's only made 7 starts, 11 games played, primarily senior that can come into the game and pinch hit or designated hit like he's doing right here today. That one's off the plate for ball 2, and Belbot's up early in the count. Ball number 3 outside for Burgess. 3-0 count for Belbot. See if he gets the take sign from Coach Ted White or wants to have the green light. Inside for strike number 1. Belbot didn't agree with that one. It looked like it was low on the inside corner. Might just have gotten into the zone, but just barely, if so. Belbot takes a big cut that goes foul. Three-two now, full count for Belbot against Burgess. Belbot takes a swing, gets it past the first baseman and into right. And Jack Belbot reaches for Washington and Lee's 3rd hit of the day and first hit since the first inning.
Good piece of hitting there again from Belbot, just right over into that right side. Tough spot there for the first baseman to get over to. The Generals have another base runner here. As you said, Kaden, 3rd hit of the day. We'll see if any success comes from this one.
Belbot gets a little bit of a big lead, but has to dive back and just barely makes it. Now at the plate for Washington and Lee is Preston Larmore. 1 out, 1 runner on for Washington and Lee. Going to make a threat now. Larmore, junior second baseman. Belbot again getting a big lead. Burgess trying to make him stick close to that bag.
A couple of close throws over there. Belbot a little late on the reaction. Still able to get back in time both times, but gotta think Burgess will have him in his mind here.
Larmore takes a cut and goes foul for the first pitch of the at-bat. That ball is low. So 1-1 now for Larmore. Larmore on the year, 286, 735. He is junior who's taken a step forward and inserted himself into the starting lineup. Now he's an everyday starter. 16 games started on the year, 19 games played in for the junior second baseman from Atlanta. Ball 3 is low and away. Now Larmore up in the count and making Burgess sweat for what has seemed like the first time today, Shane.
Burgess struggling a little bit with his control, finding the zone here. Green light, got to be thinking for Larmore on this pitch.
Larmore waits, and that's going to be in for strike 2. Full count now for the junior from Atlanta, facing off against the junior from Leesburg. Here comes the 3-2. Larmore takes a cut, a swinging bunt. That's down easy for Burgess. He makes quick work of Larmore. But Belbot able to get over to second, and now a runner still in scoring position for Washington Lee. As the first year in Camden, Teague is going to be due up for the blue and white.
We've seen a lot of those little check swing bloops that go right back to the pitcher today. That one able to get the runner over, but 2 outs now up on the board. Runner in scoring position for Teague, but he's going to have to get a base hit here to bring him home.
Big cut from Teague on the first pitch of the at-bat. Here's the 0-1. Down low for another ball. In this inning, Burgess's pitch count, getting up there a little bit more now. Up to 55 on the day. 2 outs, though, for the Maroons. That was ball 2 on the outside.
And a run here for Washington Lee would be quite big just to give their offense a little bit more confidence. And you got to think that some run support would help keep Benner in this game as well.
Big cut from Teague, and that gets down into left field. Teague rounding, trying to get into second, and he will for a double.
Great hustle there from Teague on that one, and also just an excellent piece of hitting right into that left center gap. Textbook just piece of hitting, base hit should have been for Teague, but good hustle to get over to second base, and then scoring from second was Turner, I believe.
And just perfect base running all the way around. Jack Belbot
yeah.
Also doing a nice job working his way around. And Washington and Lee gets their first runs of the day on a 2-out double from the first year. As Jack Belbot scores on the double. Camden Teague stepping up when his team needs him. As they've already stranded multiple runners in scoring position. Washington and Lee might not be done yet. As it brings up DeWitt. Now that one gets down into center. We'll see if Teague wants to go. Instead, he'll hold up. DeWitt will be on for a single as Camden Teague gets over to his third base and holds up. See that nice piece of hitting from Nathan DeWitt.
Yeah, and that's one of those ones where you almost wish it was a softer hit if you're a Generals fan, because that one carries all the way into center field. A good piece of hitting off the bounce. Just unfortunate there. Teague not really able to come around to score because of a great throw from center field, but So keeping this 2-out rally going for Washington and Lee to bring up Lagas.
And a nice job by Nate Prince to get to that one early and limit what Camden Teague could do. Really, if Nate Prince wasn't that quick to the ball, you got to think Camden Teague's going all the way, but instead, Nate Prince in center, hustling to limit Teague to stay on third, but Nick Lagas at the plate now down 0-1. Lucky bounce there. Ferguson almost lost it, but was able to get his chest in front of it, staying in front of the ball. It's rule number one if you're a catcher. Can't let those pass balls get by you, especially when there's a runner on third.
And Ferguson's done a good job of that today. A couple of times, we're just coming a little wild on those pitches. But Ferguson's been doing a good job back there stopping the wild ones.
Inside for ball two. 2-1 for Nick Lagas. Lagas 0 for 2 today. He's got a strikeout as well as a ground out. Ball 3, the Roanoke dugout doesn't like that call.
Here's some fans also disagreeing with the call. Good chance here now for Lagas to get a hold of one on the 3-1 count.
3-1, 2 outs. Lagas holds up, and that's in for strike 2 to make it a full count with 2 outs. Runners on the corners.
You can see there Lagas kind of knew that one was a strike, but opted to hold up there, not really liking the inside pitch. Didn't even really gesture over thinking it was a walk. He'll rather take the 3-2 here.
DeWitt goes on the pitch. Lagas fouls that one off. 3-2. You know DeWitt's going. Camden Teague still over there at third. Doesn't want to run in case it is a walk. 3-2 now. 2 outs for the junior from Chicago. He takes a cut. Skies it into center. Nice play out in center by Nate Prince. And his heroics in center might have saved multiple runs. First on the nice one-hop play out in center to limit Camden Teague to staying on third. And then that beautiful catch way out there. But not before Washington and Lee finds themselves on the board for the first time today, as the 2-out double from Camden Teague allows Jack Belbot to score, and Washington and Lee puts up their first run of the day in the bottom of the fourth. Top of the fifth action after Washington and Lee finally finds himself on the board. Parker Stallard now at the plate for the Maroons. They try to punch right back after Washington and Lee puts up a run in the bottom of the fourth. Still out there for Washington and Lee is John Benner. Benner's pitch count now 79 on the day. Allowed 4 hits, 2 runs. 1 of those was earned. 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. Now facing off against Stallard, who does have a hit on the day, 1 for 2. His lone hit was a single. He also has a stolen bag as well. Ball 3 now for Benner. We've seen some lack of control now in the last couple innings from Benner, but he was able to bounce back on the last batter to get a strikeout, and right there, able to dish one in for the first strike of this at-bat. Big cut from Stallard. Goes foul, so now full count for Washington and Lee, or for Roanoke, I should say. Comes the 3-2. Ringing him up is John Benner right down the middle as Stallard hesitates for the first out of the day, and John Benner's 4th strikeout of the afternoon.
And just a good comeback effort there from Benner, finding himself down 3-0 in the count. And coming back, working in 3 strikes back to back to back to force the strikeout.
Now it's Galloway back in. He's 0 for 1 on the day with a walk. His other at-bat was a strikeout, and now he's down quick. 0-2 after 2 nice pitches from John Benner.
Benner coming back quickly here after a little bit of command struggles with those first 3 pitches of the inning. 5 strikes in a row.
Benner's rolling now. That one is pitch out outside, trying to get Galloway to chase.
Benner dealing quickly as well.
That one rings up Galloway for the 2nd strikeout of the inning and the 5th strikeout of the day for John Benner, who's rolling in the top of this 5th inning.
Benner trying to make his case to keep his day going with the strong 5th inning. So far here, 2 strikeouts already. We're looking to make it a 3rd.
Now another strike right in there, and Benner is rolling with that high pace of play as well. He's right back on the bump and just wants to keep dishing them. His pitch count getting up there, though. The high 80s now. That one skips off of the grass a few feet in front of it, and it looked like Benner lost that pitch, but nothing doing. Nice job by Charnecko to gather it. Low pitch from Benner. 2-1 count now. Murphy might have went around, and we'll see. We'll say that's strike 2 for Liam Murphy. Murphy, again, the junior designated hitter from Rumson, New Jersey. 0 for 2 today. Got 2 flyouts. And strike 3 coming from Benner, but no. He'll say that was a ball.
We've definitely seen that same pitch called as a strike before. This time the umpire going to say no. Ball 3. Benner started walking off the mound thinking the inning was over.
Now inside, and that will be strike 3. And John Benner, 3 up, 3 down, 3 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning. And now Washington and Lee carrying some momentum into the bottom of the 5th. Time for the bottom of the fifth in game one of this doubleheader between the Roanoke College Maroons and Washington and Lee Generals. And right now we've got special guest color commentator making a half an inning appearance. Mike Carpenter, team captain for the Generals, currently in concussion protocol, senior leader on this squad. And with the heat of this order up, and Campbell Charnecko, Andrew Thornton, and Paul Ramsor due up in this inning, what are you looking for, Carp?
Well, not a lot of speed here, but a lot of power. So we're looking for one of these guys to get an extra base hit to start the inning and get a little rhythm started, get a little hot inning going. One thing about these Generals bats is it can get going at any moment, and you never know. It's good to have Campbell starting up as he takes strike one on the up and outer corner. But it's good to be in the booth with you. I'm excited to watch some baseball today.
Great day for some baseball. The sun's finally out here poking out through the clouds. Charnecko's down 0-1. But when you're in the batter box now 0-2, what are you thinking at this point if you're Charnecko or when you have been in the batter box?
Well, it's tough. A couple times through the order, they've been pitching backwards to the harder order a little bit, starting off with off speed. Campbell gets extended on one, puts it up in the air, out to right field, tracking and caught. But, it's tough. With two strikes, you're just looking to put some ball in play low and hard the other way. That's kind of the team philosophy. And, Campbell did a good job right there staying in on that pitch, but it's tough. This guy's got his slider working, and we're putting together competitive at-bats, and I'm excited to see if Thornton can try and get his hands extended on this one.
Andrew Thornton, a sophomore for Washington Lee, is really taking that next step as a third baseman. Ton of power for the sophomore. Now, what are you thinking, Carp, if you're on bat after he chases on that one just on the outside? What would you be looking for at this point if you're Thornton, a power hitter for this squad?
Well, you just saw right there, started the 0-0 with another slider away. So, I think he was sitting on that and his eyes lit up. Thornton likes getting the hands extended out on balls, driving things left center. So, I think Thornton right now is just locking back in, staying in his zone, reminding himself he doesn't have to do more than what he has to because he doesn't. He's a great hitter. He's got a lot of patience in the box, and he usually waits to get his.
He lines one straight into center, tracked and caught by Nate Prince, and he's had a heck of a day out there in center. Now 2 quick outs for Washington Lee. That brings up a junior and Paul Ramsor. Ramsor, contact hitter for Washington Lee. A little bit of a different look. Now we had those 2 power hitters in Charnecko and Thornton, and now Ramsor has got a little bit lower of an OPS, but a high on-base percentage, high average. So what is Paul Ramsor looking for?
We're trying to get some base runners on in the second. Paulie obviously being aggressive early in the count, just trying to get his pitch, jump after something. I'm not going to do any disrespect to Paul's power here because he could put a ball in the yard before you know it. But right now I think Paulie's just trying to get something going with 2 outs. We don't want to be in this spot. You like to get runners on early, but that's not to say our last run was scored with 2 outs, so we can do it again. And he takes that pitch for strike 2 just under the hands. I think he was looking outer half there, but I think Paulie's going to dial it back in and put together another 2-strike AB right here for the Generals.
And some nice pitching, too, from Burgess for the Maroons. What have you seen out of him? You said a slider earlier. What else would you be looking for? A couple times through the order now. So just trying to get your spot if you're a hitter, trying to get used to this pitcher, and you got to think he's got maybe 1 inning of work left with about 80 pitches.
Yep, Paul. Oh, what a great play by the pitcher. Comebacker, easy flip to first base. But, I think the Generals did a good job competing here, and we're looking to get into the bullpen and do some damage after that.
And then heading into the rest of this game down the home stretch here, how can they find some success against Burgess, who's been really solid? And he's got at least 1 more inning of work, you have to think, with only 80 pitches on the day.
Yeah, I think if the Generals here can just work to get Burgess out of the game and get right to the bullpen and jump after that guy. We're struggling a little bit right now with him, but you get us a different look. And once again, this lineup can explode at any second. It's a very, very contagious hitting team. So I think we're just looking to get some bats started early, not get to 2 outs with nobody on, and we'll be all right. We'll be right back in this one.
Well, thanks so much, Carp. It's been a pleasure as we're getting ready for the top of the 6th now. See, looks like new pitcher into the game for Washington Lee. Take a step aside as that looks like it's Evan Blair. Back onto the bump for the Generals right after this. Back at Captain Dick Smith Field here for the top of the sixth between Roanoke College Maroons in Washington and Lee Generals. It's a good one, a low-scoring affair here. 2-1, the Maroons have the lead. And a new pitcher into the game for Washington Lee. It's going to be Evan Blair, the former Generals ace. He struggled a little bit this year, but still has a ton of talent and has a lot of stuff that he can show you.
Yeah, and that concludes Benner's day. Take a look at his numbers. 94 total pitches, 4 hits given up, 2 runs, 1 earned, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. So certainly a good effort there. Exactly what the Generals were hoping for out of Benner. They're going to give it off to their bullpen, trying to keep this Maroons lead at 1.
2-1 count now. That one was in there for Evan Blair. Just a note on Evan Blair, his first 3 seasons for Washington and Lee were all superb. His first 2 seasons in ERA under 2, and then last year an ERA just over 3. This year, though, he struggled. 1-3 on the year, an ERA of about 12, just trying to regain some of that control in 9 appearances. But we've seen it. We saw it 2 weeks ago when the Generals were at home. Evan Blair came in relief. Washington Lee knotted it up. He was pitching like a madman out there, and then all of a sudden, homer at the bottom of the 8th for Hampton-Sydney. Allowed Hampton-Sydney to take game 1, so just some unluckiness for Evan Blair as that one was hit over to short, and Legis retired the hitter for a first out. But what are you thinking you want out of Evan Blair here, just trying to get back on track as that Generals ace?
Yeah, Blair, just want to hope for him to come in and find the zone, keep that control. Some good velocity on his fastballs as well, just keeping the Maroon hitters off guard. It's really been a specialty of his, and if he's able to keep that control and maintain that, he'll be able to put in a good shift today, which the Generals are going to need here, down by 1 run.
Now he's facing off against Giordano, who had that double in the bottom of the in the top of the 4th, I should say. Giordano also scored for the Maroons, but Evan Blair, not the highest velocity pitcher. Speaking to him just outside, out and about, really likes to get some control. A few different types of pitches in his arsenal, trying to use it all. This year it's just been a little bit of a struggle, as pitches do, kind of the ebbs and flow of baseball, if you will. 3-1 count now for Giordano, 1 out for Blair. Just keeps that high pace of play as well. That one is high for ball 4 on Corey Coogan, I should say, after Giordano was retired.
And his first base runner given up on the day, just a walk. Certainly not what you're hoping for. We talked about it earlier as well, just not limiting those base runners, especially on the walks and errors. Blair still with the 1 out. Now facing here against Galloway.
Coogan now 0 for 1 on the day, but he was hit by a pitch and now a walk. Also represents a threat on the base paths. 10 steals on the season. None today, but forcing Blair to think over there on the bump as now he checks on him real quick.
Excuse me,
There'll
that's
be nothing doing.
McKeever at the plate, not Galloway.
McKeever now also at the plate, 0 for 2 on the day. This is his 3rd at-bat. He's got a ground out and a fielder's choice that was aired. He reached in his first at-bat, then grounded out in his second, making it 0 for 2 on the day as Blair again checks on first. 1-0 count to McKeever. Takes a big cut, fouls it back and over the bleachers. One count now for McKeever. Charneco sets up behind the plate, but Blair again is going to check on Kaden. It's the third time he's checked on him, just trying to keep him close to the bag.
Yeah, Kaden had a big lead that time. Looked like he was probably going to go on that pitch. He sets up with the big lead here again.
Now a ball low for ball 2.
This is a big spot here. As we've talked about, Blair struggled on the season, but to come in here and try to shut down the Maroons here again this inning, it's going to go a long way towards building his confidence as he gets in that one for strike 2.
And a nice pitch there from Blair on the swing and miss from McKeever. Coming in the right spot, too, for Blair. Mid to bottom of this order. Trying to gain some confidence back, and that's a big part of the struggle when you're pitching is just confidence on the bump. Now McKeever, mile high sky ball into the infield. No infield fly rule called, and instead Lagus will retire. McKeever for the second out of the top of the 6th.
Looks like the trainer's going to come out and take a look.
Like something might have happened to Blair on that last pitch. Just coming off a little bit weird. We'll step aside. It's Evan Blair still on the bump, but just getting checked out by the trainer. Evan Blair now getting checked out again. Looks to be all good. Had to get some water onto his clothes to get some blood out, we assume, of his uniform. And now the umpires talking to Coach Ted White. Looked like Evan Blair just cut himself, had it all picked up. Is now everybody looking up into the air. A low-flying helicopter over baseball diamond.
See that shadow go right across your screen there. Just helicopter flying right over the field.
So we're still held up right here now. Some talk going on between Coach Ted White and the first base umpire. Seems to be the lead umpire today. Has had to make multiple explanations to Coach Ted White. So we're still held up now, and the trainer having to come all the way back out, patch up Blair again.
And Blair might just have a small little cut on his hand. Don't want any blood getting on the ball. Trainer just coming out and taking care of that.
We'll see if this affects his pitching, because if you do have a Band-Aid or something of that sort on your hand, could make a difference trying to get your hands over the seams or whatever it may be when you're out there on the bump. Now, Evan Blair still being attended to. We're all just holding up here. But so far through this one, it's been a good one. Roanoke holding a 2-1 lead. Low-scoring game, but relatively a ton of base runners. Washington Lee has left 7 on base. Only 6 left on base for Roanoke. 1 double for each squad. And really the only difference that we can, discernible difference at least, has been the walks. It's been 4 walks for Roanoke compared to 1 for Washington and Lee. And right now, base runner on first for the Maroons after Kaden walked. Still held up on first. Blair's retired McKeever and Giordano, and now faces the 9-hole hitter in Nate Prince.
Yeah, Prince has been all over the stat sheet and the field today, out there in center field, making a couple good defensive plays. Scored a run, or rather, an RBI for the Maroons on his earlier base hit, and also walked in this game. Prince certainly having a solid first half of this doubleheader.
Seen Blair now, that's the 5th time he's checked on Coogan the last 2 at-bats, so Coogan playing some mind games with the pitcher. That one on the inside for ball 2.
There was a long break there in between the middle of this inning for Blair, so we'll see if that affects his control here at all.
Coogan goes. Charnecko tried to hose him down, just carried Larmore off of the bag. Nice job there from Charnecko. It looked like he might have gotten up quick enough, just the throw was offline for Larmore. Just like that, Coogan makes his way into scoring position. Blair checks on Coogan at second. That one was in the dirt. Charnecko popped up quick, was worried about Coogan scampering his way to third. Big swing and a miss to make it a full count now. 3-2 count for Nate Prince. But Prince has been really solid thus far through today in that 9-hole. 1 for 1 and then having a walk as well. Blair delivers. Prince skies one over the top of the netting. Right into the press box nearly that time.
Yeah, the kind of production they're getting out of Prince here in their 9 holes, exactly what you're hoping for if you're the Maroons. Get the lineup back up to the top.
3-2. Prince cuts one over to Lagus. Lagus delivers a strike over to DeWitt. And just like that, Evan Blair, despite walking Coogan and a steal from Corey Coogan, is able to retire 3 outs before any run score for the Maroons. Thomas Burgess is still in there for the bottom of the 6th. His pitch count up to 84. He's got 1 earned run allowed, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts on the day. He's put together quite the day for the Maroons on the bump, but trying to keep that run at 1. If he's able to keep Washington and Lee to no runs in this inning, he will be in line for the win. So it's in his control from thus far out.
Yeah, you got to think the way Burgess has looked today, you expect him to come out firing in this inning.
Not what you want if you're Roanoke. Right away hitting John Turner. The first pitch of Top of the 6th, and Turner's able to reach onto base. Now a base runner on for the Generals, which also brings Jack Belbot back to the plate. Last time we saw this, Turner was able to walk earlier in the game, and Belbot came to the plate, laid down a bunt to advance Turner to second. We'll see if Coach Ted White and the Generals want to do the same thing this time. Third baseman all the way in on the grass. This time Belbot takes a big swing. Third baseman in Giordano, charging way inside, hoping to limit the damage.
It's the second time today that Turner's gotten hit by a pitch on the first pitch of his at-bat, and then Belbot taking a big cut there, fouling that one straight back.
Now another big cut from Belbot.
Turner got a really good jump there. Unfortunate that one was fouled off. Probably going to find himself in there safe at second.
Here's the 0-2 from Burgess. Belbot stays strong for ball 1. Checking on Turner at first is Burgess. You have to think that this is Burgess's last inning of work now with almost 90 pitches.
Yeah, that might have a lot to do with how he's able to perform in this inning. Obviously, hitting Turner on that first at bat, not what you want, but a chance here to get a ground ball from Belbot in turn 2 might keep him in for another inning.
Burgess again checking on Turner over at first, but Turner was right there and ready to get back. Doesn't even have to dive.
Belbot choked up way on the bat now.
That ball was low for ball 2. Belbot might now, with 2 strikes, be thinking about getting something a little softer just so Turner can advance. We'll see if he wants to take a big cut. Now he takes a cut, and it gets past through the gap between first and second into right. Hustling all the way down to third base is Turner. Now Belbot hustles to second, but he's going to be called out at second. Not before John Turner's able to make it over to first. But Belbot trying to hustle over to second after he rips one into right field. From there, Parker Staller trying to go pick off Turner, who rounded, made his way to third. But Belbot just a little bit too slow, and he'll be called out at second base.
Yeah, a little bit of carelessness on the base pass there from Belbot. Would have wanted to get a jump earlier if you're going to try to take second on that kind of play. Just the throw quite easy from third to second there to get him out. Still a big deal, though, to get the runner over to third now with Larmore up at the plate.
Now Preston Larmore, 1 out, runner on third. Certainly would love to have instead a situation where you have only no outs and runners on the corner. But nonetheless, still another scoring opportunity for Washington Lee with Turner on third. One now. Larmore lays down a bunt, and it barely gets down. He'll be called out at first, but not before John Turner comes across for Washington and Lee's second run of the day to knot us up at deuces.
That was a dangerous bunt there from Larmore. That one staying up for a long time. Burgess almost able to get to it and make the catch, and that would have been really bad because Turner was basically already at home when Burgess got the ball. Would have been a double play, but fortunate that one drops. The Generals get their second run.
Now this brings the first-year Camden Teague to the plate. Teague playing in the left today. He's been inserted into this lineup and has really solved some of their outfield errors. for the blue and white. Teague on the day is 1 for 1. He's got that 1 RBI double for Washington Lee's first run of the day, and then he also has a walk on a hit by pitch. So looking to keep his fantastic day going now at the plate. Now down 1-2 with 2 outs. Pitch out now and making it a full count for Camden Teague.
Generals, we've seen them be so strong at times with 2 outs this season. Teague working the count full here. Trying to get on base and start another 2-out rally.
Teague run up. He thought he was going to be able to walk, but instead it's going to be called for strike 3 on the first year. And Thomas Burgess, after 98 pitches, is going to end with 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs. Probably won't see him in the top of the 7th. But Washington and Lee able to scratch one across. And now 2-2 between the Maroons and Generals as we head to the top of the 7th. Evan Blair back out there for the top of the 7th, hoping to finish this one off for Washington. All knotted up at 2 here as we're in the top of the 7th after Washington and Lee bounces back to knot us up for the first time since it was 0-0. Now at the plate for the Maroons.
Maroons
It's going to
bats
be Ferguson.
gone a little cold here these last few innings. Really a whole lot of base running action for them. Still just the 4 hits so far. Generals now up to 6 in that category, so the team's struggling a little bit offensively. Generals starting to get into their groove the last couple innings. We'll see if the Maroons are able to find it again here, back at the top of the order with Ferguson.
Strike 1 in there now, 2-1, facing off against the freshman catcher in Danny Ferguson. Ferguson today, 1 for 2 with a walk. Putting together a nice day at the plate for the first year. Trying to find his way back onto base for the 3rd time today. 2-2. Blair delivers high, and that makes it a full count now. Here comes the 3-2 from Blair. That one's high, and he'll walk Ferguson.
That's the base run of the Maroons I've been looking for. They've had a couple in the last few innings, but all coming with at least an out on the board. That one, nobody out now. Up at the top of the order, exactly where the Maroons want to be with a guy on base.
Now walks keep plaguing the Generals. 5 walks for the Maroons, compared to the sole walk for Washington Lee, and that doesn't even count hit by pitches. This one's lined to Legas. Legas, instead of going to second, instead just retires. Moshier at first, skips it to DeWitt. First out is on the board, but now Ferguson scampers his way to second. So 1 out, runner in scorer position still for Washington and Lee for Stallard.
Yeah, really no chance there for Lagus to get the guy at second there in Ferguson, just making the smart play. A good effort, a little bit of a jump throw there over to first. Secures the first out of the 7th.
First pitch of the at-bat is in there for strike 1. Nice piece of pitching there by Blair. Blair checks on Ferguson, now delivers home for strike 2 on Stallard.
Really important here for Blair to keep this lead or keep the score knotted up at 2 apiece. Runs have been at a premium this game, so don't want to let the Maroons tack on another one across the board. And in a good position here, up 0-2 in the count.
That one low and into the dirt. A nice job by Charneco. You can see Blair shaking his hand again. He cut his hand earlier in the game, had to be tended to. It hasn't seemed to bother him as of late. He just was able to retire Moshier. Ferguson did walk, but he's ahead 1-2. This one again, grounded to Lagus. Lagus delivers to DeWitt, but they're going to say safe. They can't believe it. We'll see if this takes a discussion.
Coach Ted White coming out to, seems like quite often he likes to come out and talk to the umpires and just make sure things are clear. They're on the same page. Obviously, he doesn't agree with the call.
That one ate its way to Lagus. A little bit of a slow roller, Lagus, then delivered over to first base. A nice job, though, by Stallard to just hustle that one out.
You rarely ever see these kinds of calls overturned when a coach comes out to make his case and have a conversation, but Coach White just trying to get things clarified and obviously express his disagreement with the call.
Nothing you can really do there if you're Evan Blair. Nice piece of pitching. You're up 1-2. Then you force a hit straight to your shortstop. Easy ground, slow roller, but just not enough heat on that one from Lagus. It'll be scored as a single.
Yeah, sometimes those slow rollers can be tough to get to, especially with some speedsters from this Maroons team. As you said, Kaden, good job by Stallard to beat that one out.
Now this brings Galloway back to the plate. 0 for 2 today. He does have a walk. Runners on first and second now for the Maroons, threatening in the top of the 7th. 1-1 count on Evan Blair.
Galloway also with a couple strikeouts in this one.
You have to think Blair is thinking about attacking here now. You have a force out at third, second, or first, and there he induces the swing from Galloway.
Blair's looked solid in these couple innings of work that he's had. Pretty strong control so far.
One, two now. That one's launched through the gap into left field, hustling around and scoring for the Maroons. It's going to be Ferguson off a 1 RBI single from Tyler Galloway. A nice piece of running there as well from Ferguson.
Yeah, beautiful hit there by Galloway. Launches that one right past the third baseman of Washington and Lee and Thornton. Out into left field. Still only one out here, and the Maroons now take a 3-2 lead.
See, now back to the plate is Murphy facing off against Blair.
I mentioned it in the top of this inning, but now's the time when the Maroons really want to start to get their bats going again, and they're starting to find it here up at the top of their lineup, moving down into the middle now.
Runners on first and second for Roanoke. That one skied high by Murphy. Be out of play for strike two. Blair, again, just attacking. Ahead of the count, 0-2.
Yeah, Murphy's a dangerous hitter for the Maroons, though. A lot of power he's able to produce, so Blair certainly needs to be concerned about that. Up 0-2 in the count, though, so you certainly have a couple of throwaway pitches if he wants it, but he, like you said, Kaden, he has been attacking.
Ball one outside now for Blair facing off against Murphy. Again, Murphy 0 for 3 today. The strikeout, 2 flyouts. That one was high, so not the greatest day from the junior from Rumson, New Jersey, trying to find his way on base for the first time today. 2-2 count now. That was inside and rung him up. Nice piece of pitching there from Evan Blair for his first strikeout of the day to get the second of this inning.
And Murphy really frustrated at the end of that at bat. Hit himself on his helmet softly with his bat there as well. Just got a little bit hung up on that inside pitch, sort of frozen when he saw that one come out, and knew right afterwards that he missed one.
Giordano now facing Blair for the second time today. So Blair's made a full trip through the order now. Every hitter has seen him, and Giordano again has that double that ended up making a difference for the Maroons. But other than that, striking a ground out as now he launches one deep into center. Nice job by John Turner to take his first step back and a few more to retire a deep fly ball from Giordano. In Washington and Lee lets up one run as Roanoke College regains the lead 3-2. New pitcher in for Roanoke College. It's the junior from Glen Allen, Virginia. For 31, Isaac Brooks. Brooks, a righty, went to Glen Allen High School. On this year, he's really been the ace for Roanoke. 4-1 on the year in 13 appearances. 29 2/3 innings of work. He's only allowed 10 earned runs. It's really this ace for Roanoke coming in with an opportunity to have the extended save or even be in line for a win, as Roanoke holds a 3-2 lead over Washington and Lee. For Roanoke, nice day on the bump for Thomas Burgess. Burgess ends 6 innings of work, 99 pitches, 6 hits allowed, 2 runs, 2 of those both were earned. A walk and 3 strikeouts. 2 earned runs through 6 innings pitched. It's nothing you'll complain about if you are the coach in Brett Kaminsky for Roanoke. Now on the bump, it's going to be Isaac Brooks. Brooks coming in. Again, 4-1 on the year in 29 2/3 innings of work. Trying to finish this one out for the Maroons.
And you can see Brooks coming in with that sidearm angle on his pitches. A different look for these Generals hitters. Might take a little bit of adjusting to just to get used to that angle and used to seeing it come out of Brooks' hands like that.
And now a quick hit is lined into center by Nathan DeWitt. The top of the order up for Washington and Lee. DeWitt makes quick work on the 0-2 count.
So much for taking some time to get used to him. DeWitt coming right in, seeing him right away, and great piece of hitting, just lining that one straight into center. Good piece of hitting there from DeWitt to bring up Lagas.
In Brooks' last appearance, he went 2 1/3. He allowed 5 hits, but no earned runs. There was 1 run allowed, though. Wasn't credited earned, but certainly not invincible, as no one ever is on the mound. Nathan DeWitt being the first base runner on for Washington Lee. With no outs now, as Nick Lagas shows bunt, pulls it back, and it'll be in there for a strike.
It's a good pitch to lay down a bunt there for Lagas. Not sure why he pulled that one back. Just watches that one go right in for a strike.
Now the infield playing on the grass for Roanoke. Thought about that one, but it'll be a ball high.
Looks like Brooks thought that one might have clipped the plate there. Umpire disagrees. Lagas takes that one inside.
Looks like Brooks thought it might have, like you said, been on the plate, but it was most definitely high, and that one was low and away.
Hitters count now for Lagas.
Had 3-1 for Nick Lagas. Runner on first in DeWitt. Now he takes a big swing right up the gut for Nick Lagas. DeWitt's going to scamper to second and stay there. And the first 2 batters that face off against Isaac Brooks are on base with singles. With a single from Nathan DeWitt and then a single right up the gut from Nick Lagas.
And Charneco is exactly the guy you want at the plate now. Big power out of their 3-hole hitter. Has a hit on the day as well. Really good chance now for Charneco to try to knot this one up or even give the Generals the lead.
Exactly what you want out of your lineup from your 1 and 2 hitters. Now Charneco squares to bunt. He lays down a good one. He's going to be thrown out at first, but he will move both DeWitt and Lagas into scoring position. DeWitt now on third, Lagas on second. 1 out now for Andrew Thornton.
An absolute textbook bunt there from Charneco. Didn't reveal it before the pitch was thrown, catching the third baseman and pitcher off guard. Now Thornton coming up to bat. Another big bat for Washington and Lee, and a really great opportunity now with runners on second and third.
Everyone's on the grass in the infield. Thornton takes strike 1. One of the things we had our guest commentator, Mike Carpenter, said. Carp said a lot of power from Thornton. Likes to drive, doubles in the left center field. Would it be a heck of a time for one right now with runners on second and third and only 1 out? 2-1 count.
That one just barely missed.
Crowd in favor of that one, but the visiting Roanoke bullpen, not a fan. 2-1 count now for Thornton. Thornton chops one on the infield, muffed at third, picked up and recovered. A nice play there by Giordano. Get his body in front of it, knock it down, deliver to first, and keep both DeWitt and Lagas. Second and third, They didn't even get the chance to move. Almost textbook there by Giordano. Didn't field it cleanly, but did everything else correctly.
Yeah, get that ball in front of them. You see now why the Maroons were planted all on that inside grass. That ball went right to him. Absolutely no chance for the runner at third to make a good play at the home plate. And 2 outs already now.
Fair ball from Paul Ramsor. That'll score 2. A little bit of a confusing one, and just like that, Nick Legas scratches across home plate, and Washington and Lee gains the lead off the first pitch from Paul Ramsor going into right past the first baseman. It stayed fair, and Washington and Lee now regains the lead 4-3.
And that was a great piece of hitting there from Ramsor, chopping that one right down the first base line. A great effort, full extension from McKeever over there at first as Ramsor now gets pinch run for. But Ramsor doing his job, getting both runners across the plate. And the Generals finally tacking off, bringing home a couple of runs in this inning and scoring a couple base runners.
Now onto the base paths for Ramsor. They're going to put in Jonathan French at first base. French, one of the fastest players in the ODAC. Probably the most electric player on this Generals team. Against SVU the other day. Able to get caught in a pickle and escaped. And then now a bunt laid down and got on base from John Turner. A surprise one right down the third base line. Now runners on first and second with 2 outs.
And the Generals are really executing some good, if you will, like small ball baseball, just knocking some bunts down. You saw Charneco's bunt earlier that got the runners over, and then behind the plate, it's Turner laying down a bunt, stealing a base hit, getting the runner over. Generals really executing this inning well.
A little bit of surprising, too, because back-to-back hits now. We're on the first pitch of the at-bat, so attacking early, attacking often, when a lot of people aren't expecting it, especially laying down that bunt. Gamble from Turner, but it paid out as now Belbot skies one into center. Getting under it is Prince, and that will retire Belbot for the third out of the top of the bottom of the 7th. But that wasn't before Washington and Lee strikes with a 2 RBI single from Paul Ramsor. Give Washington and Lee their first lead of the day, 4-3. Evan Blair back out on the bump for Washington Lee as they hold a 4-3 lead here at home on Captain Dick Smith Field over the Roanoke College Maroons. Evan Blair in line for the win now. Allowed a run in the last inning, but now after the offense of the blue and white puts up a 2 spot in the bottom of the 7th, now Blair in line for the win if he can shut out the Maroons. In for Washington and Lee. Ramsor substitutes out of right field, and Jonathan French in after substituting in as a pinch runner. Ramsor, though, leaving his mark on this game with that 2 RBI single. It's now Blair knots up the count at 1 apiece. That one was fouled back. 1-2 count.
And Blair so far already almost up to 50 pitches. So pretty good control. About half of his pitches have gone in there for strikes. A little bit over half of them.
You have to think Blair, if he's able to hold Maroons scoreless in this inning, it's going to go the whole way. At the plate for Roanoke is Corey Coogan. Coogan got on base last time on a walk. He's 0 for 1 on the day, but now goes down swinging for the first out of the top of this eighth after Evan Blair gets his second strikeout of the day.
Blair just working through Coogan there, finding all of his spots and able to come inside on him for that last pitch, get the strikeout. Big first out of this eighth, and just trying to get through this one. 1, 2, 3.
Keever now straight away goes to DeWitt. DeWitt delivers to first. And now Washington and Lee is rolling with 2 quick outs from Evan Blair. First to strikeout. Now a ground out to third, as that will bring up the bottom of the order in Nate Prince, who has been really solid today, but was not able to reach for the first time in his last at-bat. Prince again, 1 for 2 on the day. He grounded out, and this time he launches one past Lagus. First pitch attacking again. A great piece of hitting by Prince, who makes his way onto the base paths and has the opportunity to use his speed to try to get himself into scoring position.
The Generals that time trying to catch Prince lacking there. Charneco came all the way over to first base, sneaking there behind him. But Prince staying on the bag, not going to fall for that one.
A 4-3 lead. Now top of the order up in Ferguson for the Maroons. Ferguson 1 for 2 on the day and 2 walks. Skies that one back for strike number 1. Prince over on first. Deep fly ball hit in to right. Right under it is French at the warning track, and he retires. Ferguson and Washington in lead, despite a little bit threatening from the Maroons after retiring the first 2 outs, is able to escape that top of the 8th. So it brings us to the bottom of the 8th. Washington Lee holds an 4-3 lead over the Roanoke College Maroons. 4-3 game, bottom of the 8th. Washington and Lee up to bat in the bottom of the 8th. Up 4-3. They'll still be facing off against Isaac Brooks. Brooks in that last inning of work. 17 pitches, 4 hits, 2 runs and 2 earned runs allowed. Not what you wanted, especially after start 2 hits to start the inning from DeWitt and Lagus. Then Ramsor was able to reach and have a 2 RBI single right down the first base line as it stayed fair. French inserted into the lineup, and then John Turner laid down a bunt to reach. Now up for Washington and Lee, it will be Preston Larmore, Camden Teague, and back up to the top in Nathan DeWitt. So 8-9-1 due up in this inning for the Generals. Teague takes a cut. That one barely goes foul. Giordano may be charged at that one. Could have.
Washington and Lee here have that 1-run lead thanks to those 2 runs last inning, teched in by Ramsor, but
now a hit right between the first and second baseman. We've seen that a couple times from Preston Larmore.
As I was saying, though, you always want to have those insurance runs, and Larmore getting on Stoffard the right way with that base hit. Trying to add to their lead and help out Blair if he's to go back out there in the 9th. Finish this one off for the Generals.
Camden Teague now at the plate for Washington Lee. 1 for 2 on the day. Thought about laying down a bunt. That one went way behind him. And easily reaching to second is Preston Larmore. Larmore sticks at second, but into scoring position for Washington Lee with no outs. Camden Teague was content to concede an out and let Larmore scamper to second, but instead, ball behind his back is able to do it more easily for him without conceding the out. Now he'll square again to do it. This one skies over the catcher in Ferguson.
Yeah, that time Teague reaching a little bit to make contact with that one. Probably was going to come in there for a ball if he didn't try to reach for it. You just got to know when to pull your bunt back. Can't always make contact with all of them. First baseman's.
Teague tries to lay it down again, but gets under it. So 1-2 count.
Yeah, the first baseman's playing about 15 feet off the bag in the infield grass. Trying to prevent the bunt from going down on that side. Curious to see if Teague tries to lay one down again here with 2 strikes.
Pulls it back. Ball 2 now. Now Camden Teague with an almost swinging bunt. Brooks decides to go the easy way over to first. Might have had a chance to make a challenge on Larmore at third, but instead opting to get the sure out at first in Camden Teague. Now that brings back up the top of the order in Nathan DeWitt, who had a single off of Brooks in his last at-bat.
Yeah, looks like Coach White's wanted to talk over this at-bat with his leadoff man.
Talking a little bit of strategy between Coach White and DeWitt. Looking for the insurance run here. DeWitt has a runner on third in Larmore. Hoping to sky one deep and maybe allow Larmore to make his way home. Instead, DeWitt is going to say, I'll do it myself, and hits a 1 RBI single just past the glove of the first baseman in McKeever. Now Washington and Lee makes their lead 2 off of a hit from Nathan DeWitt.
Exactly what the Generals needed. Some more insurance runs. Bring that lead up to 2, as you said, Kaden. Still only 1 out, so opportunities for more runs to come across here for the Maroons. You got to be careful here.
Lagus goes quick quick double play. Nice job from the second baseman. And Coogan able to go to second and back to first for a quick double play, but not before Washington and Lee extends their lead to 2 as we head to the top of the 9th. Top of the 9th here at Captain Dick Smith Field. It's been a good one thus far through. 5-3 Washington and Lee lead as we head to the top of the 9th. Evan Blair still out there for his 4th inning of work. Blair so far 54 pitches, 3 hits, 1 run. That was earned. 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. He's in line for the win as of right now if he's able to hold on, keep this lead. But up for Roanoke is going to be the heat of their lineup. It'll be 2, 3, 4 due up in this inning. First, it's Kyle Moshier, who's been the top player for Roanoke all year long, the reigning ODAC Rookie of the Year and first-team All-ODAC player, takes a swing right away to Lagus. Lagus delivers to first for out number 1 of the top of this 9th inning.
Yeah, and despite Moshier's dominance overall this season, just today, not his day. 5 at-bats, strikeout, ground out a couple flyouts, and another ground out that you just saw there. Also left 4 on base. So Moshier certainly a forgettable afternoon so far for him.
Now up for Roanoke is going to be Patrick Stallard. Stallard, 2 for 4 on the day, 1 strikeout, 1 ground out. Also, there's a threat on the base pass with a steal. 2-0 count now. Blair falls behind against Stallard. Blair delivers, and that one catches the corner for strike 1. Blair looking for his 2nd win of the season. Delivers. That one's rocketed into right, and French will gather it. Stallard will reach on a 1-out single that almost carries past the first baseman, but luckily enough, Campbell Charnecko was there to gather.
That'll bring the tying run and Galloway up to the plate here for the Maroons.
You can hear the crowd yelling. Double play opportunity to end the game for Washington and Lee with Stallard on first. But now Galloway going there. Larmore will gather. He'll go the short way to first. And there's the 2nd out of the top of this 9th inning. Only 1 more to go for Evan Blair and the Generals.
A really tough play there for Larmore to have any chance at scoring 2. Just a slow roller. Taking the easy play to first. At this point in the game, you take any out that you can get down to the final out of the game. For the Maroons, the runner on second doesn't mean a whole lot. The runner at the plate gets out.
Runner at second, like Shane just said. Tying run at the plate in Liam Murphy. Murphy 0 for 4 on the day, 2 strikeouts, 2 flyouts. Facing off against Blair, who's been fantastic in this one. Blair delivers the first ball low and away.
Talked about it before, though. Murphy does have that power. Here would be a big spot for him to come up and hit one out. But Blair has to understand that and attack him appropriately.
Blair laser focused on home plate. That ball was low for ball 2. Blair falls behind in the count 2-0 now. Looking to attack right away. 2-0. Blair pitches to Murphy. That one skips past Legas's glove. Rounding and all the way in is Stallard for the 4th run of the day for Roanoke. And the tying run finds its way to first base in Liam Murphy. After that one just skipped by the glove of Nick Legas, and disastrous for Washington and Lee, as now pinch runner will enter the game for Murphy.
Yeah, and that one goes down as a base hit for Murphy. So him coming in, doing his job, putting it in play, and fortunate that one sort of bobbled by Legas. Took an awkward bounce right when it got to him up over his shoulder. Just unable to make a play on the ball. And as you said, Kaden, tying run now at first, winning run at the plate if they're able to hold the Generals to no runs if they tie it up here.
Hard hit ball. Now at the plate is going to be Giordano. Giordano showed us his power, but that time Blair catches him swinging for strike number 1.
And Blair still a chance here to end it with the batter at the plate.
That one low and away for ball 1 of these at-bat. 1-1 now.
And that's really why the Generals' insurance run last inning was so huge, because it gives you a little bit of cushion for any of those mistakes that you might see out there in the field or really with anything on defense.
1-1. Big cut now into left center. It'll get down. Giordano getting a 2-out double, and crossing across the plate will be Jones, who's in for the pinch runner for Murphy. A 2-out RBI double. Scratches across the plate and knots us back up at 5.
That's just really tough for Washington and Lee. 1 out away, really 1 play away. That ground ball that went to Legas from ending the game. Just unable to make it happen. Now the game finds itself up knotted at 5.
Now the winning run on second base for Roanoke. On second, that's Giordano. This brings Coogan to the plate. This is the 3rd time Coogan has faced Blair. (2-0) count. Blair falls behind. Seen Blair in the spot a couple times. He's battled himself back into it. That one skied high in to shallow left field and retired by Nick Legas. We're all knotted up at 5s apiece in the top of the 9th after Roanoke College puts a 2-spot up to knot us back at 5s. Washington and Lee, the chance for the walk-off game winner in the bottom of the 9th after this. How else would you want it? Bottom of the ninth, all knotted up at 5s apiece. A chance for the walk-off at home for Washington and Lee. Game 1 of this ODAC doubleheader between Roanoke College and Washington and Lee. Due up for the Generals is going to be Campbell Charnecko, Andrew Thornton, and then Jonathan French, who is substituted in for Paul Ramsor. New pitcher on the bump for the Maroons of Roanoke College. It's junior from Lorton, Virginia. Number 15, Trevor Orth out there. Orth, one of the top relievers for the squad. Last year had an ERA below 3 at 2.91. This year, another solid year with an ERA of 4.22, 3-0 on the season, and 21 in the third innings of work. Now, Campbell Charnecko will be the first player at the plate for the Generals. A chance to have a walk-off victory here between the Maroons of Roanoke College and the Generals of Washington and Lee. Orth delivers a first strike right in there for strike one, which catches the corner of the plate. Charnecko on the day, 1 for 3. He has that bloop single sacrifice play, along with 2 flyouts and a ground out. Senior captain for the Generals. How else would you want it in one of your final games here at Captain Dick Smith Field? Charnecko takes a big cut. Foul tip right into the glove for strike 2. He falls behind 1-2 against Orth. 1-2 count for Orth. Charnecko knuckles that one foul.
Charnecko fighting these pitches off, waiting for his pitch. Certainly has the power to end this game with one swing, but if you're Washington and Lee, you just want a base runner here, and Charnecko trying to provide that.
Got a lot of power on deck in Thornton and French. That one's inside for ball number 2. Thornton provides a lot of power, and then French with some speed in the hole. So you got Charnecko at bat, Thornton on deck, and French in the hole. 2-2, that one's high, and that'll make it a full count here between Orth and Charnecko.
Really a big spot here. If you walk Charnecko, winning run reaches. A strikeout here for Orth would be huge.
Charnecko grounds one to third, gathered by Giordano. Hustling it out was Charnecko, but not before Giordano delivers the first out of the bottom of this ninth. Now Andrew Thornton comes to the plate. Thornton has had another solid day. 1 for 4 only, ground out in 2 flyouts. Not seeing the power we're used to, but it would be a heck of a moment right now for the sophomore. One 1-0 count between Orth and Thornton. Thornton skies one high. Roanoke trying to get under it. It's the first baseman in McKeever who retires Thornton. And now 2 up, 2 down for Trevor Orth. They'll bring Jonathan French to the plate for the Generals.
And Orth just coming and doing exactly what he has to do, shutting down this Generals offense, and scored at least a run in the last 3 innings. Able to get 2 quick outs.
Orth versus French. French with a bloop single over the second baseman. That gets the speedy sophomore onto base with John Turner up to bat.
Yeah, and French coming in, attacking right away. And just unsuspecting that Roanoke defense bloops it right into shallow right field. And now Turner, who's been pretty productive today, a couple couple of hit by pitches and a hit as well for him. Scored a run as well.
Turner takes a big cut right away, fouls it back. And if you're Coach Ted White, who else do you want on the base paths but Jonathan French? One of the fastest players in the ODAC. Make a lot of things happen. So that's the guy you want out there running the bases. We'll see if he gets the steal sign. Turner with a big cut now, down 0-2.
Yeah, you got to think, though, he doesn't even need to steal. If Turner manages to get a ball in the gap, it's certainly going to be a close play, but French, in all likelihood, will be sent around. But right now, Turner down 0-2.
French goes. They're just going to eat it. A little bit of confusion now as French easily reaches second bases and in scoring position now with 2 outs. So now a single potentially gives Washington and Lee the opportunity to walk this one off. Turner, knuckleball back again.
Yeah, Turner just fighting off anything close, down 1-2 in the count. Orth certainly has the opportunity to play with Turner here a little bit, give him something maybe not too good to swing at up in the count.
1-2, runner on second and 2 outs, and again, Turner fights it back just off the top of the netting.
And Turner just doing everything he can to stay alive here. Trying to wait for his pitch.
That's what you got to do. 1-2 count, you have to think Orth still thinking about attacking here. French might have been caught in a bad spot. Makes his way back, and the umpire will say safe.
Yeah, French reacted in time there to get back, but certainly a big lead, as you said, Kaden. Really close play there, probably closer than it should have been, but the umpire's going to say he's safe.
French still on second. Turner at the plate. Inside, and French going to scamper over to third. Can he make his way home? Instead, he holds up. French thought about sending it all the way back after the connection between Orth and Ferguson was offline. That might be a key play in this one. So now a 2-2 count. French thought about going all the way around from second. If he was on third, he's scoring there for sure.
Yeah, Giordano, the third baseman, was yelling at the pitcher to cover home because nobody was there.
2-2, but Turner goes down swinging, and Orth faces 4 batters, gets 3 outs, and we're headed to extras here in Lexington in Game 1 of this doubleheader between the Washington and Lee Generals and Roanoke College, all knotted up as 5 as we head into the 10th. Extra innings here in Lexington between the Washington and Lee Generals and Roanoke College Maroons. There's a new pitcher out there for the Generals of Washington and Lee. It's Brody Pasica into the game for Evan Blair. Pasica, a junior from Cream Ridge, New Jersey, pitches with his right hand. This year, again, one of the top pitchers for the Generals in the past few years. He's taken a little bit of step back from last year, but ERA just over 6, 0-1 overall record, 9 appearances, and 17 innings of work. He also has 2 saves. Not in line for the save right now because it is all knotted up. But certainly would love to get a win if you can keep Roanoke scoreless. And the Generals can scratch across a couple more runs. The first batter Pasica will face is going to be McKeever, the first baseman for Roanoke.
Yeah, and that'll end Blair's day at 4 innings of work, 70 total pitches, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. A bit of an unfortunate ending for Blair, but Pasica will come in and try to pick up where he left off.
Pasica gets ahead 0-2 in the count. And just one thing on Blair, again, struggling a little bit this year, but it's just a tough spot to be a reliever. Faced the order 3 times through. Coach Ted White trying to trust in his senior. That's a tough spot to be if you are a pitcher, as McKeever now fouls that one off. Especially being a reliever facing order 3 times through. Those hitters have an opportunity to see you pitch, get used to your off-speed stuff, and see everything. Now Pasica coming in, hoping to keep the Maroons scoreless, so Washington and Lee can try to walk this one off at home. Ball 1 is now high for Pasica, facing off against McKeever. McKeever 0 for 4 on the day. He's got 1 RBI, though, and was able to reach in his first at-bat off of an error. But since then, 0 for 4 with 2 groundouts and a flyout along with that error. Now he grounds one over to third. Thornton delivers to first and retires McKeever for the first out of this 10th inning.
Easy play for Thornton at third, routine ground ball. Thornton's done a good job over there with his limited opportunities on defense, but doing well over there in the hot corner.
Brody Pasica able to retire the first batter he faces. Now he's going against a 9-hole hitter in Prince, who has been really good today, and he hits him. Not the thing you want to do, especially not the guy you want to hit, because he is one of the fastest players on this Maroon roster with 10 steals on the year.
Yeah, that breaking ball just trying to cut back into the zone. Clips Prince right on his shoulder. Just not able to find itself back across the plate. Now the Maroons, the winning run on base.
That brings up the top of the order in Ferguson. Ferguson 1 for 3 on the day, with a ground out, a fly out, and a single, as well as 2 walks. Prince over there now on first base. Pasica checks on him. 1-0 count. Delivers a low ball to Pasica now trails in the count 2-0. Ball 3. Low and inside now, when Pasica's going to have to take a second and gather. No action in the bullpen. Coach Ted White riding with his guy in Pasica.
You got to think the only third batter that he's faced, struggling here with control a little bit, but
Pasica now delivers on the inside. That will be ball number 4, a 4-pitch walk, facing off against Ferguson to put runners on first and second.
yeah, just not ideal for Washington and Lee. A lot of walks, 6 walked of the day, and a couple of hit by pitches as well, which is the reason Prince is over there on second. So again, a couple of unforced mistakes, given some base runners.
Runners on first and second, 1 out for Moshier. That one's in there for strike 1.
And Pasika getting himself into a jam here. It's going to be huge for the Generals to be able to pull himself out. Chance for a double play here with forces on each of the bases besides home plate.
Pasika delivers. That one is low and outside, so 1-1 count now for the sophomore from Asheville. Moshier 0 for 5 on the day, but the top hitter for this roster looking to get his team on the board in the biggest moment of this game thus far. Runners on first and second. 1-2 count now. Pasika takes a second.
And just every at-bat's a battle between pitcher and batter, and as this game continues to wear along, each one becomes more and more important.
Moshier takes a big rip out into left field. Rather center. Getting under it that time was Turner. He delivers a strike over to Andrew Thornton to retire the second out of the top of this 10th. Runner still on first and second for Brody Pasika. But a sky-high ball from Moshier to get in the left center. Nice communication out there between John Turner and Camden Teague. This brings now Patrick Stallard, who's been arguably the top player for the Maroons today. 3 for 5 on the day. Struck out once, also has a steal, has a ground out. But 3 singles for Patrick Stallard, the senior from Salem. Now Roanoke College upset about that call. Visiting crowd.
Yeah, they're up in arms about that call, and I'd have to agree with them. They're saying that Stallard went around there. I'm not really sure what the first base umpire was looking at. He didn't really take much of any swing at all there.
0-1 count now. Patrick Stallard takes a swing, fouls it off his foot. Makes the count 0-2 for Brody Pasika. Runner still on first and second. 2 outs, though. Shane, if you're Pasika, are you attacking early in the count, or are you going to try to play around a little bit and get him to chase?
Yeah, I think you just got to go right at him here. Messing around a little bit can lead to some unwanted results here if you're the Generals. So I say go right at him and try to give it back to your offense right here.
Pasika delivers the 0-2. Into the gap. Legis gets under it. That was a big play by Legis, though. Even though he wasn't able to get the out, getting in front of that and knocking it down saves the run from coming home.
Yeah,
Huge play by Nick Legis out in the field that time.
Yeah, really, all Legis had to do there was to get to the ball. Really no chance to get any of the runners out with how slow that one was hit and how far in the gap he had to run. As you said, Kaden, a really good effort laying out to stop that one and saving a run.
Now back at the plate is Galloway. Galloway 1 for 4 on the day. Bases loaded, though. Lines one up the gut. That's going to score 1. Rounding around, and that will score 2 down to third. And runners on the corner with a 2-out, 2 RBI single from Tyler Galloway to put Roanoke College up 7-5 in the top of this 10th.
And as I was saying, saying Pasika should go right at him. That is one of the disadvantages when you attack these hitters. They start to see it well, and they've been seeing it all day today. Both sides have. Maroons up to 12 hits on the afternoon. That one laced right up the middle, and the Maroons get a couple runs they were looking for. Now up 7-5 here with runners on the corners.
Runners on the corners for Pasika. Springs Bonds into the plate, and he lines one right up the gut, sky high. John Turner is underneath that one. Records the 3rd out of the top of this 10th, but Roanoke College able to capitalize with a 2-out, 2 RBI single from Tyler Galloway to take a 2-run lead. And to the bottom of the 10th, it's do or die time for the Generals in the bottom of the 10th. Trevor Orth back out there for Roanoke College, looking to get the save now. Or rather, he's still in line for the win. It's Trevor Orth put up no runs allowed in the bottom of the 9th. Again, the junior from Lorton, Virginia, having a really big role as the ace, the closer for this Roanoke College squad. 17 pitches deep, only 1 hit allowed and 1 strikeout. And he's going to face the bottom of the Generals lineup. It'll be 7, 8, 9. Belbot, Larmore, Teague. As Belbot is currently at the plate. Falls behind 0-1.
As you talked about, to end that top of the 10th, really is just a do-or-die moment for Washington and Lee. You're down 2 runs. You have to at least get 2. To knock this one back up, to push it to the 11th. So really got to leave it all out there at the plate.
Belbot at the plate now, facing off against Orth. That one was a high pitch. One silver lining is now a lot of pitching used in this first matchup of a doubleheader. You've used probably your top 3 pitchers if you're Roanoke, and arguably your top 3 pitchers if you're Washington and Lee. Now, Belbot defending the 1-2 pitch. Got to get a base runner here if you're the Generals. Can't do it all in one swing at the moment. Belbot 2 for 3 on the day. 2 singles. So making an impact as the designated hitter, as Roanoke fan in the stand can't quite gather that one. Not hot hands. 1-2 still between Orth and Belbot. Belbot takes another cut, and he's standing in strong, defending the plate. Two singles again for Belbot on the day. Great time for the third as he gets caught chasing high that time.
Yeah, Belbot going upstairs, trying to make contact with that one. Not going to happen for him. He'll strike out, and final couple outs now for the Washington and Lee Generals.
Do or die time again for Washington and Lee, and Preston Larmore coming to the plate. He's 1 for 3 on the day with an RBI. Stands in there and takes strike 1.
Yeah, doesn't really like that inside call, but umpire's been pretty consistent with that one today, giving it just about everybody, especially these right-handed batters.
Stands in and defends the plate once again, but that brings the count to 0-2 between Orth and Larmore. Washington Lee battled all the way back into this one, took the lead, and then let it go in the bottom of the 9th as Orth rings up Larmore, looking for the second out of this one. The Generals are out to their final out of this game. It'll be the first year Camden Teague at the plate. They absolutely need him to reach on base.
Just a beautiful off speed there from Orth. Front door. He completely caught Longmore off guard with that pitch.
Teague skies one high, hustling over to his Giordano, but it gets out of bounds. Way foul. Orth has just been clinical as the closer for the squad. 3 strikeouts, only 1 hit allowed in these last 2.5 innings, 1 2/3 innings of work. Roanoke did score both of their runs with 2 outs. Big spot for the freshman outfielder who's found himself in a starting role.
Down to his final strike here.
Camden Teague. That's that one on the outside. Skip past him. Brings the count to 1-2.
Just gotta take it one batter at a time if you're the Generals here.
Camden Teague now chops one that goes foul, luckily for him. Teague standing in strong at the plate. Still a 1-2 count. Orth has not been shy to attack. Teague takes a cut and strikes out looking. And just like that, Roanoke College completes the comeback after trailing 2 in the top of the 9th. Puts up 2 in the top of the 9th. Puts up 2 in the top of the 10th. And Trevor Orth allows no runs in the bottom of the 9th and bottom of the 10th as Roanoke College prevails over Washington and Lee 7-5 in game 1 of this doubleheader. Shane, it was a fantastic game. How did Roanoke College prevail in this one?
Yeah, just a fantastic game, as you said, throughout, back and forth the whole way. Roanoke got out to a couple-run lead into the 4th inning. The Generals tried to match them with a run in the bottom of the 4th. And then from there on out, it was really much the Generals' offense starting to take over a little bit. They managed to get that 2-run lead going into the top of the 9th, as we talked about the assurance run in the 8th. But then the Maroons come back. Some good 2-out hitting, score a couple runs in that top of the 9th. And then again, with 2-out hitting in the top of the 10th. Ended up being the winning couple runs for him there. But both pitchers on both sides, all the pitchers rather on both sides, put in a good shift today. It's just the Roanoke offense ended up winning out between these two teams.
Leading the way for Washington and Lee, 3 hits for Nathan DeWitt with 1 RBI and a walk. But for Roanoke College, 1 hit and 2 runs from Danny Ferguson, 4 for 6 in the game number 1 from Patrick Stallard, and 2 for 3 from Nate Prince at the bottom of the order to go along with a walk. But really what did it for Roanoke College was the pitching from Trevor Orth coming into the game, being clinical through the last 2 innings. If you could give them both a win and a save, you would. You can't, so he'll just be in line for the win. For Washington Lee, John Benner started out with 94 pitches, 4 hits, 2 runs, and only 1 of them was earned. Evan Blair, 4 innings of work, 3 earned runs. Brody Pasico, 1 inning of work with 2 earned runs. But Washington and Lee had that lead 5-3 in the top of the 9th. Just a couple things, a couple swing of the bats don't go their way. And Roanoke College completes a fantastic comeback. Stay tuned for Game 2 of our doubleheader between the Generals of Washington and Lee and Roanoke College. Game 1 was a fantastic one, and we're hoping Game 2 is just like that here on the Washington and Lee Sports Network. But for now, we'll take a 30 to 45 minute break and be back here between 3:45 and 4 o'clock for first pitch of game number 2.